Welcome back. What is it, Friday morning?
It is Friday.
Friday already?
Again.
Time flies.
It is. A good time flying week.
Exactly.
I didn't really have anything.
Exactly. Now, anything that we talk about today is not meant to diagnose you guys. It's just meant to provide information for you and your doctors to do research on and for education purposes. So we're not going to...
Some might say entertainment purposes.
We could do that too. And then also, when you guys call in, make sure it's like one question, like right to the point, because there's a lot of callers. And we don't have time to get into a long history, like your lab testing and all that. And then also questions like, how do you lose weight? You have to be more specific. Okay, like
right.
a specific, because that can open up a whole hour talk just on one question. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right, Karen. So it's kind of funny, like people say, well, Dr. Berg, when can I go back to my regular diet?
Regular food.
My normal food.
Should we throw Terry under the bus?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. So Crystal, actually, I lied. We are going to Ruth from Texas. She had a question about fermented coconut. Go ahead, Ruth. How are you doing?
Yes. Good morning, Dr. Berg.
Good morning.
I am so excited about going to your conference. I have my tickets and I'm all ready to go.
Awesome.
Yay!
I can't wait to meet you in person.
In preparation, I've been, of course, trying to improve my health even more. And one of the things that I was trying to educate myself on was fermented yogurt. I have been eating the fermented vegetables that I can fix myself, at home. But I thought to give myself a little variety, I would try some fermented coconut. And it's just raw young coconut and water. It didn't, probiotic cultures. Didn't really have anything in there that I thought was going to cause problems. So I was just eating a couple of tablespoons after my meal. And for the first 2 or 3 days, there wasn't any problem. And then on day number 4, I got this terrible pain underneath my ribcage, which I thought initially was my gallbladder, but I haven't had any problems with my gallbladder since I've been using your gallbladder formula for, a year now. And then I started to kind of try and feel the pain, and it was more at the opening of my stomach. And I'm wondering, do you have any other information on these coconut? Is it good? Is it bad? Should I just stay with my fermented vegetables?
Well, it's kind of one of those things. Sometimes when you have, that's a really new product in the, that you would get. Like, it's not a common thing. And sometimes those new products, a couple things. One is our body's just like, what the heck is this? I've never had that before. And then you also have the factor of, I'm always the guy that tries everything new, right? And then you read the ingredients, you're like, what the heck is this? Why do they put that in there? It could be an ingredient in there, but typically fermented foods are supposed to improve digestion. So that is a new one. I would have to look at the ingredients and see what the heck is in there.
Well, it must have affected my liver too, because my left leg, the hip, or not my left, my right leg, my right hip, when I was going through the pain, the next day it started to hurt, and it hurt for 2 days. And I kept massaging my liver area with your tool, and it went away. So somehow or another, it affected my liver, which then went down to that hip. Because I haven't had that hip pain in over a year.
Well, here's the point. The gallbladder is located very close to the stomach, and so is the pancreas.
Mm-hmm.
So you have, when you eat certain things, and even maybe even too much fat or a new fat that you're not used to, and coconut is fatty, it can definitely refer pain. Like, for example, in practice, for 29 years, people would come in with the most bizarre symptoms, leg pain, pain over here, pain over there, and with no injury, like it shouldn't be there. So I want to find out, when did it start? What did you eat just before that? Inevitably, there's something new that they ate that either they have a sensitivity to or created a little reaction to that organ, gallbladder or pancreas, and then started referring pain to that side of the body. Now, I don't know if this is 100%. All I know is if you avoid eating it and you massage that area, it seems to go, the pain goes away. So that's what I would do, Ruth. I would avoid the food, start doing some work on that area and see if it goes away, especially if there's like no reason for that pain. But a lot of pain is referred. Okay, Ruth, thanks for the question, and we're gonna be seeing you real soon. And definitely come Friday night.
You want to come
Okay,
Friday.
we're doing a little get together. What are we doing Friday night?
Okay, I'm just going to do a little commercial here. For this summit, you definitely want to come Friday and stay in the hotel, whether you're flying in from out of town or you're local. First of all, the rates are unbelievable. Even the people in the hotel don't understand how we got such low rates. It's an amazing hotel. It's in National Harbor. There's going to be an informal meet and greet happening. It's an on your own dime kind of thing, but we're reserving this big space in a cool eatery there, and it's going to be a great time for you to
Are we going to be there?
catch up. I think
We'll be there.
okay. I don't know that we're
be
gonna.
there.
Okay, we'll be there at
Because
some
we have
point.
nothing to do Friday night
We got
before the
nothing
event.
else going on. Time on our hands that day. But also there's going to be early registration. And for you guys who are planning to come, we are starting early in the morning, Saturday and Sunday. So you're going to want to register on Friday. Registration will be open from like 5 to 7. And then we're going to be sending out promo on this so that you know, but there's all kinds of things that you can do on Friday night. Water taxi to Old Town, water taxi into DC. There's all kinds of amazing restaurants in National Harbor. So you definitely want to come Friday. It's really worth it.
Totally.
Why was I answering that question?
I think I was going to ask you, do you have anything on social media?
Oh, okay. You didn't do that, but let's do that right now.
Okay.
First of all, I'm going to do the shout out, okay? So, so far we have Sweden, Amsterdam, Denmark, Jordan, Hong Kong.
Wow.
Hong Kong, Leipzig, Utah, Miami, Maryland, Cape Town, South Africa, all over the United States. Thank you for showing up. Good morning or good evening, whatever time frame it is,
Middle
right?
of the night, yeah.
Middle of the night. We appreciate you showing up. Okay, so I'm going to there's a question here for me.
Okay,
So do you mind if I answer
for it.
that? Right. So someone is asking, do I do keto and intermittent fasting? Yes, I do. And if so, what kind of food do I eat in an average day? Okay, so two things. Generally, I have been doing 2 meals a day as of late. My body is happiest on 1 meal, but sometimes, depending on my schedule, I don't pull it off. And I'm completely opposite from Dr. Berg, because Dr. Berg eats the same food every meal, every day of his life, unless we are somewhere else, and then he'll get as close to it as he can. I tend to eat big salad. Sometimes
What
I
kind
have
of salad?
I love arugula. Arugula, and honestly, it's arugula with some sunflower seeds and maybe some walnuts and a little olive oil and salt and
Do you always use dressing?
I really don't like dressing. I am not a fan of dressing. Sometimes I just eat the arugula with my hands. It's very classy.
In the backyard,
We don't do that out in a restaurant. I will use a fork. But I like olive oil, and that's kind of it. And then sometimes that's it for a meal. And then the protein would be a separate meal. So it's not like I'm always piling up all the greens. And
She doesn't do a lot of protein.
I don't do a lot of protein. I prefer fish or a burger. Every once in a while I get a hankering for a steak or something like that. But
You like butter.
I love me some butter. I was going to say, I do like butter. I have to stay away from overdoing the fats, because I can overdo the fats if I want to drop a few pounds. I have to go lean on the fats and just have it in my meats, maybe a little olive oil, and do 1 meal a day.
So guys, let's just talk about this fats for a second, because this is a big confusion. We'll be talking extensively at the summit about this. But
Can we say that at the same time?
At the summit. But here's the thing. If you do too many fats, a lot of people can digest fats. It's not going to be a problem, but you're going to find that it prevents your own body from tapping into your own fat. So it could create a stall. Now, if you go too low on the fats over a longer period of time, what'll happen, it'll really affect your cognitive function, your mood. It'll affect, because your brain is like mostly fat and cholesterol. So when you start cutting
From
down,
a fathead?
not directly, but what happens is like you start cutting down, you start doing low-fat diets, whatever, and it really messes with the brain chemistry. So you don't want to go low-fat, but then again, you want to go like a moderate kind of fat. But when she says low-fat, she doesn't mean low-fat. She just means less fat, because people think that keto is just high-fat, unlimited fat. Well,
Right.
what comes with the package? But if you're 18 years old, or you're trying to gain weight or trying not to lose any more weight, that's when you have to do a lot more fat.
Right. And the fats is like high fat, meaning meats that aren't lean, meaning
Right, just
not
regular,
low fat cheese, not, just regular food that has regular fat in it. There is a confusion that a keto diet means that you can chow down as much fat as you want.
What happens though, you'll start getting bloating because the gallbladder gets overloaded, and then you'll need the gallbladder formula, a lot more of that, which by the way you want to have after the meal. But the thing is that if you actually have too much fat and you're not hungry for the next 36 hours, then that means that you need to cut back a little bit.
Don't eat. It's like when we did filming the other day, and I did 7 keto bomb recipes.
We're releasing quite a few
We
upcoming.
sampled them all.
Yeah.
And that was kind of all I ate in that day. One other thing I want to mention too is I am one of those people who sometimes I just love a huge arugula salad. I'll do something massive and I'll do it for days, day after day after day. My system can't always handle all that arugula.
Well, here's
So
another.
then I'll have to go with like
then
a
let's just
steamed
bring up
vegetables.
let's bring up one more point.
Bring it
about
up. Bring it up.
vegetables. We want to try to gradually work up to getting a lot of vegetables, but some people can't. So do what you can. You can steam them. Personally, myself, I can down
Cartloads.
I could
truckload.
down basically 20 cups of salad a day. I could easily do that without any problem. My body loves it. But I think what happened is I built up to that, I think. But if you start getting constipated or bloated because you have too much, you're overwhelming the microbes, that you just cut it back. But the point is you need a good amount of vegetables on a regular basis to get the phytonutrients and the potassium that you need, because people are going to probably ask today, like, what about a carnivore diet? Well, that might be good if someone has a lot of digestive issues on a temporary basis, but how are you going to do a moderate amount of protein on a carnivore diet? And plus, you're going to have to add in there, like organ meats, because you're just eating muscle meat. There's no vitamin C, there's no this, there's no that, so you could potentially become deficient. It's a new thing, and it could overload your liver with too much protein and then create ammonia backup and all that other
You don't
stuff.
want ammonia backup.
No. So Brianna has been waiting for a bit. We're going to go to Brianna. She's in Maryland.
Oh, good.
Hey, hi.
Hello?
Neighbor.
Hi. Yeah. I'm at work. I was kind of caught off guard here. But I was just calling to see if you thought there was any relationship between, I had extreme morning sickness. I guess it's like hypermesis gravidarum with all 3 pregnancies, just all day long. And I just wondered if you thought there was any relationship between that and nutritional deficiencies.
Yeah. The big one that stands out, that slaps me in the face, is the B6. So you need B6. Women that are pregnant need a lot more B6. And B6 is kind of like a helper vitamin. It's like a cofactor that helps in the metabolism of food and the building up of protein and a lot of different chemical reactions. I think there's like probably over 400 different reactions your body is involved with. But you basically need more B6. So nutritional yeast is a really good thing to consume when you're pregnant, before you're pregnant, and also when you're nursing, because also you'll find your breast milk will be much better. But morning sickness is a classic B6 deficiency. But if you take the nutritional yeast, the one that I actually have, which is in the pills, it comes with the B12 too, because sometimes you need B12 with B6. So yeah, you can take it specifically for that one thing, but make sure you take it in the whole complex and try to go for the natural if you can find it.
Okay.
All right, thanks for calling. All right, good. So let's take a question from...
I'm laughing. Dennis I think he likes your phrase, which you say quite a bit.
What?
It comes with a package.
It
comes with a package. You can do that, but it comes
Eating
with a package.
sugar comes with a package.
It comes with a package.
And the package happens to be in your middle part of your section of your body.
And the package can get bigger.
Yeah, it's a big package.
It's a big package. Dennis, that was awesome. Okay, so here's a question about how would you transition kids into keto?
Very strategically. Yeah, I would start them out at birth, so they've never even seen a carbohydrate or a refined carbohydrate.
But don't
or
kids
sugar.
need more carbohydrates when they're little bitties?
No. There's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. If your body needs carbohydrate, it can make it. I mean, think about this, Karen. Normal blood sugar is roughly 80, and that basically means you need like 1 teaspoon of sugar. Mm-hmm. But your body can easily make that from fat, from protein. So anything more starts to go into reserve, either as stored sugar or stored fat. So with kids, they need this exact same eating plan, but they can definitely need more fat. You don't want to put a kid on low fat. Okay? Does that make sense? So I think I'm ready for a question for these people.
From or to?
Two.
Okay.
Okay, so
Let's
my
have a
first question, guys, see if you can get this right. All right, so you want to test insulin, right? You want to test insulin. That's an important thing, but you're in a desert island, and you have no way of testing your insulin, okay? And you're in a community, some tribe.
You're on a desert island.
You're on a desert island.
In a
you don't have
community
access to a testing facility, and there's no way that you can send
The island
off.
has a community, but it has no facility.
Yeah. What is the best way to figure out who has high insulin and who has normal insulin?
Just by looking at them. Or what?
Well, you didn't have to add that to the whole picture.
Oh.
Just zip it. So what's the best way to figure out if someone has high insulin or low insulin? Go ahead and give me your answers, guys. You're on a desert
And
island,
girls.
okay?
You're on a desert island, which
And
would
you don't
imply
have
no
access
people.
to blood testing. That's what I'm trying to say.
Wow.
And I just couldn't get it out. All right, now while they're answering that question,
I
we're
think
going
they're
to
gonna be
shift over to
figuring out what the
Shayna.
question was.
Shayna from Atlanta has a question. Shayna, are you there?
Hello, I'm sorry, I had to take the phone off mute. Yes.
Okay.
Hello, y'all. Hey, Karen.
Hey.
Hope y'all having a great day today. I was calling because I was doing real good on the ketogenic diet and losing weight and all that good stuff. But then, I had got depressed and stopped eating and everything, so I started having bad body spasms.
Mm-hmm.
And I just need to know because it made me stop eating. They were so severe that I hadn't been eating or drinking, and so I feel like my body is at a low. So how do I build my body back up and then stop having the spasms?
Okay.
Because right now they so severe, Dr. Berg and Karen, that I'd be scared to move because
so
it takes they
question
strong.
question I have for you. Okay. Did you go back to the healthy ketosis and intermittent fasting yet?
I'm trying to get back there.
Okay. So number one, get back there. Okay, that's what you have to do. Secondly, you need to consume mustard. Okay, mustard will stop the cramp like that. So get some mustard out and start consuming some mustard on a grass-fed hot dog or something, or whatever you would put mustard on, but without the bread. And then what I want you to do is I want you to drink. Make sure you do apple cider vinegar, okay, with your water. And then on top of that, I want you to drink some pickle juice today. So do all of that today.
Pickle juice and mustard.
You could blend it. And that's going to actually help you as you transition to your new healthy keto. All right? That's the tip of the day. All right, so before we take any calls, I want to get to Lewis from Minnesota because it's right next to Wisconsin, and I'm from Wisconsin. So go ahead, Lewis, you had a question.
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I've had this pain in my lower rib cage it's been a while. So I've been honest about 2-3 years. So initially, I thought it was something that has to do with gallbladder after watching videos.
Mhm.
So I bought the digestive formula.
Mhm.
I've also had some bloating and digestion problems. So thankfully, that gallbladder formula kind of is helping because I just started taking it. I've taken it for about maybe about a week and a half now, but I still get that pain.
Okay.
So I'm trying to see if there's something else that is going on or something that I could do.
This is a really good question. A lot of people have this problem. They have this sensation or this pain or fullness underneath the right rib cage, like I had for about 12 plus years, and I didn't know what it was. So basically, I'm assuming you're doing healthy keto, okay? Because the carbs will definitely do it for sure, especially breads and stuff. But then when you do keto, typically you're going to do nuts and a little bit more fat. You're going to have to reduce the fat, okay, to the point where you get rid of that pain and increase the vegetables because it's just heavy on the gallbladder. The other thing that you need to do is go to YouTube, and I have a video on, it's called gallbladder flushing, something like that. Look that video up, and I show you how to do some massage on the different organs. You want to do it on the pancreas even more than the gallbladder. I show you how to do that. So I would do that, and that should give you some relief because sometimes, like you go to a massage therapist, you get a massage, but who actually massages your organs? Your kidneys, other than me? No one. So they need help too. You don't want to neglect those guys. They need support.
The organs.
The organs.
Right.
The kidneys, the gallbladders, the pancreases, all those
All
different
part
organs.
of your happy little family
That's right.
that needs attention.
So do that, Luis, and I think that's going to help you. So now let's see if we have any interesting things people are asking. Oh wait, we got to answer the question.
Right. Very interesting answers and a little bit all over the plate here. So people are saying breath,
Okay.
belly,
Okay.
color of the eyes.
All right.
Ask them to hold their breath.
Okay.
I'm not, does that mean like how long? I don't really know. Flabby skin.
Okay.
I love this one. Urine odor. So if you really wanted to know,
These are good guesses.
you'd ask them, I guess, for
Right.
a sample of their
Right.
urine so you could smell it. But I have to admit, or my famous line, I'm not going to lie. The answer that was the most was the belly.
Well, do we have a drum roll, please?
Drum roll. Is there a drum roll?
And the answer is, you are correct. It is your belly.
Ah, yay!
So here's the thing. If you guys are out in the community, if you're at a water park, if you're at Universal Studios, if you're at an all-you-can-eat buffet, I won't
No
mention
one
any
needs
names,
to eat all they
and you
can
see
eat, by the
someone
way.
with a midsection, like a belly,
A
we
belly.
know
And if they're not pregnant.
that they have too much insulin. Do you know what else we know about them?
What?
We know that they have a misunderstood word. They don't know what insulin means. Because insulin basically has a definition of lowering blood sugars, but they don't realize that it's a dominating fat-making hormone. And in the presence of it, you can't lose weight. You will not be able to lose weight. And the target for most of the insulin is in your midsection. So you have a gut, we know you have too much insulin, and you really don't understand what insulin is or how to lower it. And that brings up the next question you were going to ask.
Well,
how do I lower it, right?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
No, my question is, what about all these other fad diet plans where people lose weight, but they're not handling it like not to be mentioned plans that have all this prepackaged food where they say, oh, you can have chocolate cake, you can have hamburger rolls, you can have pizza, you can have this and that, liquid fasts, other weird fasts or diets where they say point systems or everything in moderation, which, and some people might lose something.
If you know the definition, you can actually predict what diets are going to work and what ones aren't. You have people that go on a diet. Most diets have one thing in common: get rid of some of the junk food. Okay, get rid of some of the. Well, then you're going to drop water weight for 2 weeks. Okay, you'll think, oh yeah, it's working, and then it stops working. So that's one thing. And some diets are okay, they're just not emphasizing like the most important thing. Other diets are like pure protein and low fat. Well, you're still getting rid of the sugar, so it's going to work for a period of time. Your skin might not look as great because you don't have all the essential fats. And then the high protein can create some liver problems and liver, gallbladder stuff. So you can predict what diet's going to work. And of course, you know, if you lower your calories, most people will lose weight initially, and then all of a sudden it starts slowing it down. But we want to differentiate between fasting. Fasting does not lower your metabolism. It's different than a low-calorie diet. Intermittent fasting, you're going from one meal to the next. It's a completely different thing, and I think it might be a good time to bring this up.
Okay,
Bring up the topic of
bring it up.
muscle. People are concerned about...
I did not think you were going to say that.
People are concerned about going into fasting because they think they're going to shrink their muscles. They're going to have atrophy of the muscles, and they're
body's going to eat
atrophy.
your own protein.
Yeah, that's not going to happen for one reason, and that is that what happens when you go on an intermittent fasting program is you greatly trigger growth hormone, and growth hormone is a protein-sparing hormone. When you spare something, you don't use it, you protect it. So so as soon as you go on a fast, you got growth hormone. Now they've done experiments, Karen, where they basically put someone on a fast and then had a spike in growth hormone and then gave someone a drug to suppress growth hormone, and 50% of their muscle then was lost. So basically, growth hormone is the key thing that protects the muscle from being lost. So you don't have to worry about losing your muscle. Now, let's say you want to grow your muscle when you're doing fasting. I think you can to some degree, but you're going to have to add exercise. Exercise is the tool for increasing muscle growth. So that's why you want to combine them, because you'll have the benefits of the loss of protein. I mean, think about what happens with a diabetic, Karen. You have this massive insulin thing, and then you have insulin resistance, and then we have muscle loss. A lot of diabetics have loose, flabby skin, and they have a lot of muscle loss, big time. It's a blood sugar problem. Okay, so I just wanted to add that in there. And then also, today, we are going to be seeing who's going to win a VIP ticket to the Keto Summit. So stay tuned for more.
Right.
Don't leave. We want you to win.
Right.
And there's even a Ferris wheel very close by. If you wanted to ride the Ferris wheel, that's going to be exciting.
National Harbor is a cool place.
You know what we should do?
You can Google it.
Why don't we
Google it.
Why don't we this weekend
Yeah.
go on that Ferris wheel and do a live video from the
Oh,
Ferris wheel?
I think that's great. There's only one problem.
What?
You're terrified of heights.
Why don't we go stand next to the Ferris wheel?
This Ferris
we'll
wheel is so big.
Now, I'm not.
It is.
I could totally do that. I just don't like things when they're moving very fast
Look over
and
here.
you're not strapped down and they're going very upside down. I don't like those, but I can do a Ferris wheel. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay?
Okay, good. I think
All right,
that's a good idea.
All right. So can we take a question? There's a lot of them.
From?
Somewhere over here?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so so one thing when you guys ask questions on social media, I have to assume that you're on keto and intermittent fasting unless you say so. And the answer is going to be completely different. So here's an example, and I'm going to assume you are on keto and intermittent fasting, Bonnie. If you're watching still, you're asking about dizziness when you're lying down in bed. So obviously, if you're not on keto and intermittent fasting, the answer is start.
Okay, so
right?
this is a really important question, I think. If someone's dizzy when they're lying in bed or when they stand up and they pass out or feel dizzy, a very, very important point, especially when you're doing keto. There's two reasons for this. One is that, when you're doing keto, you lose a lot of sodium. So it could mean that you just need some salt to increase the volume of blood. And it could be totally solved by that. The other reason, and this is not really known by a lot of people, we're going to extensively get into this in the summit, which I've been basically studying night and day to prepare for this thing for the last several months, which is going to be exciting, is a problem with a part of the system called the autonomic nervous system, which basically is behind the scenes. It's controlling everything on automatic, especially the blood pressure adaptation from lying to standing. All of these functions of autonomic nervous system dysfunction really come from a B1 deficiency. B1 deficiencies are behind so many of these problems, and I'm not going to get into the reason why that is, but when you go on a keto, the need for B1 goes way high. So you need B1. Get it from nutritional yeast. That will help you with dizziness. When you're on a high carbohydrate diet, you will also need B1 because high amounts of sugar and carbohydrates deplete you of B1. So you need it in both situations. And even like they have something called berry. How do you get berry, Karen? You consume white rice. Where's all the B vitamins in rice? It's in the hulls. It's in the fiber part of the, when I talk, look at the other camera. This
We're
one?
together.
Okay. It's too complex. I'm just going to look at that one right there. So most of all the B1 is in the hulls or the bran of the rice. Of course, you don't want to do the rice anyway, but the point is that when you refine it and you have white rice, then you end up with serious B1 deficiencies, and then you have all these different symptoms. So anyway, did I answer that? Was that a long?
I wasn't paying attention.
All right. Well, thanks.
I wasn't listening. That's like in my house.
I like it. It's like,
in my
actually,
house,
I wasn't interested in your question.
when we're talking, look here. Hi everybody. You see now, look there.
Okay, good. So I'm going to answer this question. Crystal
Okay,
has
good.
been on the line for 42
And
minutes.
then we have some questions here. on
Crystal,
social
go
media.
ahead.
Hi, Dr. Berg.
Hello.
And Karen.
Hi.
Hi, my question is, I know you recommended for us to have between 7 and 10 cups of vegetables. My question is, because beet tops have a higher amount of potassium, could I do 3 to 4 cups of beet tops to make my requirement met for potassium for the day?
That's a really good question, and the answer is absolutely yes. If you're doing higher nutrient-dense foods, you do not need the quantity. Like, same thing with avocados, right? You wouldn't have to have 10 avocados. So, yes, that's a good
Gotcha.
point. You can do the beet tops. And then you can also, like if you had iceberg lettuce, you might not need more than 10 cups. You probably need 15 to 20, maybe 30 cups.
Absolutely.
So
Right.
I like that idea, and that's totally a way to get around the 10 cups.
Okay, now let me ask you the same question. Do I need to include the stem when I'm weighing this thing, or just the leaves itself?
It's whatever you eat. Are you gonna eat the stems?
All right. I mean, I do, but
Okay. Just include it into your formula.
okay, because what I do is blend it. So as long as it's meeting that 47,
Yeah, you're good.
I'm good.
You're good to
Okay.
go.
And by the way, your wheatgrass juice powder has lots of potassium. I don't know if people know that or not, but it is majorly filled with potassium.
It is, and you know, it's funny. Sometimes people say, "Well, it's weird to eat wheatgrass, like it's not normal, whatever. Why am I eating the grass?" Well, think about what wheatgrass is. It's not the grass in your backyard.
Exactly.
It is from wheat. It's a wheat plant. Now, do people eat wheat?
Right. Well, I'm pretty
Right.
sure they do. If they're not,
Most of the population eats wheat, right? We're having the grass
That's right.
of the wheat, which has all the nutrition,
Right.
and it has a lot of vitamins, and it's kind of like, you can look at it like a plant, a vegetable plant, right? And it has a lot of chlorophyll, a ton of something called beta carotene, or carotenoids are called. Carotenoids are super antioxidants, and it has vitamins and minerals, but you're able to consume a tremendous amount of concentrated chlorophyll nutrition without eating all the fiber. So anyway, that's kind of what you would want to do. And like, I'll just take one on an empty stomach in the morning, and I'm like, if I don't do it, I don't feel quite as bright, and I don't feel as good. So your body just kind of sucks it up. But thank you so much, Crystal.
Thank you, guys. Take care. See
Okay.
you at the summit.
See you at the summit.
Bye.
Okay. Guys, if you haven't registered for the summit, you definitely want to do it. Go to ketohealthsummit.com, ketohealthsummit.com. Get your tickets, because we are filling up, and we want to make sure you don't miss out, because as soon as we only have a certain amount of space. So if we don't if we get too many people, we're going to have to close it off, and that would be terrible. So I know a lot of people wait to the last minute, but the last thing is I don't want you to miss out. I want you to be there. Okay? All right. So
Yeah, we're going to have some great exhibitors too. There's going to be great opportunity to
exhibit.
Get all kinds of cool stuff and gift bags and all that fun stuff. Okay, good. Well, first of all, I want to say Beverly, better late than never. Connie, Kenosha, Wisconsin. And only
What?
him, not me.
What? She's from Kenosha, Wisconsin?
Well, no, she's asking where from Kenosha. Where in Wisconsin?
You want to know my address? 52nd Avenue? Kenosha, 52nd Avenue, 1256 52nd Avenue.
But
That
he
was
doesn't
my
live
old
there
address.
anymore.
No.
That's where he grew up.
It was on it's kind of like on the border of what used to be like farmland, but now it's all filled in. But it's a great place to grow up. Great place to grow up.
So was Allentown. Allentown, Pennsylvania. It was a great place.
Do you have a question?
A lot of
Do you
farmland.
have a question here?
Sure. And it's been decided that social media today, one of the two social media outlets, are going to win the VIP ticket. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We're going to figure out which one, and then we're going to give the question and hand out a VIP ticket. Okay, and only play the game if you know you're going to come, if you win, because we want you to come. Okay, good. Now, Marie, this isn't a body thing. Marie also, I'm kind of getting these random ones. Marie's asking, are you coming out with a keto app?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
I thought that was already.
Yes, I am, and I know what you're saying. What I did is I took it up a notch.
What are we saying?
I've been telling people I was going to release it like 2 months ago.
Right.
But what happened is I hired some people to be able to go through it, just from a viewpoint of user access, ease of
Use?
Yeah,
User friendliness?
they specialize in ease of use, whatever you call that. Experience. I don't even know.
User
There's a name.
experience?
Yes, thank you, Karen.
Oh my God, that was
Gosh, trying to
exhausting.
find that description. But the point is that, so
okay.
they're going through it and they're finding some things that need to be changed. So we're changing that, and then we're going to release it.
Right.
Okay, good.
Okay, good. So here I have one from Ryan. He's type 1 diabetic. He started OMAD and eats by 6 o'clock. He checks his sugars around 10 p.m. before he goes to sleep, and they're around 100. Okay? And he seems to be waking up with sugars around 200. Does this have to do with the fats he eats at night, or what could be happening with that? He eats around 1,200 calories on OMAD.
Okay, so I think this is a transitional thing that's happening, and I think that what happens is that as you adapt to fat burning in this whole metabolic process, sugars can kind of go up. It'd be interesting to know, not at this point, if what's happening to the amount of insulin you have to take, that should be going down, hopefully.
The amount of insulin he has
To take it being a type 1.
Right.
So that would be like the most important thing. Because like, here's the thing. The whole goal of diabetes type 1 is to keep your blood sugars normal. But well, that's fine. But what's even more important is to take the least amount of insulin possible, because that high amount of insulin that people are taking is damaging to the cells. So if you can be able to lower your insulin, even if your blood sugars maybe are a little bit high, but if you're taking a lot less insulin, my opinion is that would be a lot safer or less damaging on the body than having to take this huge sledgehammer amount of insulin. There are things that you can do, like I hope you're taking like cinnamon, for example, like large quantities of cinnamon, like on toast. No, I'm just kidding, not on toast, just cinnamon in general.
You could if you made keto bread.
Right, you could. And then take apple cider vinegar. These things are just really good for the pancreas. And there's a lot of other herbal things that you can find on my videos that I have on type 1 diabetes. So check that out, and I think that can just kind of speed things up for you and help to regulate the sugars.
Okay, good.
Okay?
There you go, Ryan.
All right, so now let's go to MD from India, Calcutta. Go ahead, you're on the line.
Wow.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
What's your question?
Hello.
Hi. What's your question?
My first question, my hair losing,
Mm-hmm.
no hair in my head, so I want to hair. So how can I do?
Okay. So the thing with that, and I'm assuming you're doing keto and intermittent fasting, normally what happens is your hair grows more, okay? But if your hair is not, all that means is you're going into this with usually some vitamin deficiency. Believe it or not, even if you get tested normal for B vitamins in your blood, it doesn't mean that you're not deficient in the B vitamins. I'm going to be creating a video on this because it's usually the malfunction of your absorption of B1s, but B1 with the different enzymes that are occurring. But I think you just need B vitamins, like biotin, B1, B6, B2. So I would find some nutritional yeast and start chowing that down. So if the B vitamins don't help you because they're cofactors with proteins, then you want to add the trace minerals, which are also needed as a co-helper to make proteins. When people take trace minerals, it doesn't necessarily increase their energy because the purpose of trace minerals, one purpose is to help you build the proteins in the body through the use of enzymes. All the different enzyme systems require trace minerals like manganese, magnesium, zinc, copper, and things like that. So that's what I would do if I were you. Trace minerals and B vitamins. All right, good. All right, Karen.
Okay, good. So we have a question here, but first I want to share Alan from Vancouver, British Columbia. He says he's been fasting keto for about 3 months. He's lost over 40 pounds. He's hiking, biking like crazy, and lifting, and he appreciates all your videos.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. So now, I know you have videos on this, but why don't you touch on keto or intermittent fasting for someone with no gallbladder?
Right. Okay, so good thing you don't need it, right? It's an extra organ. From
Yeah,
birth.
toss it, let it go with the uterus and the appendix and the ovaries and the
Right.
thyroid and all those other completely arbitrary organs.
The gallbladder has the main purpose of storing and concentrating bile. When you have a properly functioning gallbladder, you get up to 20 times the concentration of bile. Now, what that's going to do, it's going to allow you to eat food and it to be released and go right into your system and start to break down the fats and then turn them into particles that then the pancreas can release enzymes that break it down even more so we can get a full extraction of the fat-soluble vitamins and the essential fatty acids from the fat. So without doing that, you start having problems with vision, can't see, especially at night. You have problems with vitamin E, and that could be the heart, could be your skin, vitamin K2, calcium problems, vitamin D, immune system, mood, hormones, I mean, all sorts of things. So what happens without a gallbladder, you're not able to concentrate the bile. You're not able to release the quantities of bile that you did before. So eventually you could end up with a deficiency, in which case it's not hard to solve. You just need to take some gallbladder formula after the meal or some purified bile salts. Okay, that's what I would recommend because you just don't have the capacity to handle the absorption of the foods. Now, this could also happen too when the gallbladder is removed. You get this drainage of bile that then you end up having too much bile, and that's another problem. And then you're going to have diarrhea because bile is like kind of a laxative. So, and then people are stuck with permanent diarrhea, which is a whole other situation. I did a video on this. You can try to search it, but that was another long answer. Sorry, I'll try to keep them short.
That's okay. I have another. I want to say hi to Egypt and to France. That's exciting, right?
Wow, that's awesome.
I know, all over. Now I got to take this question from, I think his name is Pedram, if I'm saying that right. If I'm not, sorry. He is asking like 1,000 times here, so thank you for persisting. He wants to know, he's on keto.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to know, will vaping break a fast?
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to break a fast. I think it's just going to.
But why do it?
Yeah, it definitely. There's some issues with that. One is there's an ingredient in antifreeze, which apparently it's not the most toxic thing in the world, but it is, a skin irritant that could cause lungs to be irritated. I'm going to just be totally honest. I have not totally evaluated this to the point where I can tell you all about it. I just know that it's probably a step up from smoking, regular cigarettes. So
from what I
less
read,
chemicals.
it was more chemicals than smoking.
Well,
but
I
again,
don't
we're
have
not
that
the
data.
experts in that.
I don't have that data, so I can't even comment.
Right, you need to Google it.
But I highly doubt it's going to influence your keto program.
Intermittent fasting, unless there's some chemical intake, some chemical that would interfere. Like what about guys that paint cars or are around fumes or whatever? Does that kind of a thing interfere? A nail salon?
It's going to put a lot of chemicals in and create adrenal stress and lung problems and coughing, and then you're on steroids, and then you're going to blow up and get diabetes.
But other than that.
No, but the other thing is that I do know that smokers, they suck out a lot of vitamin C from the body. So they need a lot of vitamin C to cope with all that smoking. So they're usually vitamin C deficient. And here's the thing, when you consume, well, let me just back up. The chemistry of vitamin C is very similar to glucose. So they compete with the same receptor. So if you have too much glucose, you're not going to absorb vitamin C.
Interesting.
So if you, that's why high carb diets, these people they have low vitamin C, and then their gums start getting bleeding when they brush their teeth and stuff like that. So when you're on keto and you actually fix your insulin resistance, you start absorbing more vitamin C. You get more collagen growth. You have a lot of benefit from that. But and even the need for vitamin C goes down because you're not consuming so much glucose. So people that are drinking like orange juice thinking, oh, I'm getting all my vitamin C. Yeah, no, not quite. You're getting all your glucose. Did I answer that question?
That was a lot of information, but that was really interesting on the
what
glucose and the vitamin C. I never knew that before.
Karen, it's food for thought for you.
It is. Do you want to take a call? Because it's been a little while.
Yes, I want to take a call from Robert from Vancouver, which that is probably the most beautiful place on the planet that I've ever been.
Of all the places.
All the places I've been. I've never been out of the country, but no. Hi, Robert.
Hi, Dr. Berg. I've been keto for almost a year now, and I've been watching your videos daily ever since, and I feel great. I've never been overweight. I just use it to feel absolutely great. So the question I have is about mineral and vitamin RDAs. So these are based on a 2,000-calorie diet, but if you eat one meal a day, say 1,000 calories, would all the RDAs change, like be halved? For example, would the RDI for potassium be halved from 4,700 milligrams to about 2,400, or vitamin B1 from 1.2 milligrams to 0.6?
Good question, Robert. I'm glad that you brought that up because what he's talking about, guys, is that there's certain body requirements that we need, nutrition requirements that our body needs on a daily basis. But the definition of that is to prevent deficiencies. It doesn't really talk about, the RDAs are not really about maintaining health, and it's really hard to determine your exact amount that you need. And there's a lot of other variables. You have the age of the person, you have the stress, the digestive health, whether the person eats high sugar or low sugar. And then you also have this other variable in there, which is intermittent fasting. So everything is totally complex. So it's really hard to figure this out. Here's what I do know. I do know that when you do intermittent fasting, the need for those requirements go way down. Your body starts to recycle, starts to reuse nutrients, definitely uses proteins and minerals, so you're not wasting as much when you're doing intermittent fasting. So now, is that half? I don't know. The only way I guess we can figure this out is that you have to go by other factors like your energy level, your hair, your nails. If you have good nails and you have good energy, your hair's good, your skin's good, and you feel good, then that probably means that you have all your nutrients. As far as you're on one meal a day, try to consume as a good meal, but not without like completely stuffing yourself. There are people that will consume, and I'm not kidding, like massive amounts of food. Like I'm talking like 5,000 calories in one meal, or like, just tons and tons and tons of protein. I think that's unnecessary. But if you just have a good amount and you can digest it, I think you're getting all your nutrients, really. So that's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks for calling, Robert. All right, Karen.
Okay, so a few things here. So Ty wants to know, is there a Platinum Plus seating where people actually just sit with us? Yes, you are on the stage and you are actually presenting. You're stepping on my
Sorry.
on my earplug. Okay.
Okay. So
Anyway, there's not, but he wants to know more about the Platinum ticket.
the Platinum has pretty much you get a private dinner with us, and then there's some other benefits. It's right on the website. You can check it out. There's some other perks, which I suggest you just go read it. But it's
I could talk about
I don't think we have a Platinum Plus.
No, the
But what we'll
Platinum.
do with the Platinum Plus. Why don't we actually create
There
one?
isn't a Platinum Plus.
Basically,
Never mind a Plus Plus.
they basically just shadow us everywhere we go.
You just follow. You are actually we just put Dr. Berg name tag on you.
Okay, good.
Yeah. No, the Platinum is going to be very lovely. The seating is right up front. The gift bags are different. There's time with the speakers and obviously with us during the day, during certain breaks in the green room, and then very nice, and it's going to be dressy. I'm saying business dress to semi-formal. It's going to be a lovely reception and private dinner on Saturday night. I'm planning it. I'm getting really excited about it, and it's going to be cool.
Well, like I used to tell my staff, when we have staff of the week, we would give them preferential parking place. So they get to park right in the center
Hey, but
of our office.
that's a good idea. Unless they're flying in.
It's probably not going to be a big thing.
There are going to be lots of perks, and it's going to be a good time.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay,
good. I did have another question here.
Go ahead.
But, so this, I think it's a gal on YouTube, is saying she's a vegetarian, lacto-ovo. And she seems to have a variety of medical situations like PCOS, hypothyroidism, and obesity.
Okay.
As a vegetarian.
Okay.
She wants to know, can she follow the ketogenic diet?
The answer is...
As a vegetarian.
Yes, you can. It's more difficult. The problem is keeping your carbs low, because what's behind PCOS is high amounts of insulin. And what triggers insulin is carbohydrates. So it's a real challenge doing this. But you could do it, but you're going to have to work hard at being creative and coming up with low carb, moderate protein, and higher fat. I mean, there are fats that you can do that are vegetarian sources, like coconut oil and things like that. All right, we're going to go to Eric from Houston. He's been waiting for a bit. Hi, Eric. Good name.
Hi, guys. Good to talk to you. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I am a post-gastric sleeve patient, had a recent gallbladder removal, and I've been doing keto for a couple months now, loving it. Switched to doing intermittent fasting and OMAD, trying to keep my window between 2 and 4 hours. It's easy to do, but I have a question about the fats and the proteins. Do I need to focus on getting more of one or the other? Because having the gastric sleeve, I can't eat a ton in that one meal. So I can get a good amount down, because unfortunately I've stretched my stomach back out a bit and gained the weight back. But, it's hard to get a lot of calories, and so I'm not focused on that. But the fat and the proteins is just what I'm focused on. And any other thoughts you could think of with gastric sleeve and keto?
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about the gastric sleeve is that the reason why it helps people with diabetes and weight is because there's a bypass going on with the small intestine, and there's a hormone in the small intestine that gets triggered. It's called GIP with the food. And then what happens, it sends a signal over to the pancreas going, increase insulin, increase insulin. So now we don't have that happening. So you don't get the spike of insulin when you eat like other people. And then all of a sudden insulin gets better and you lose weight. So now you're in a situation where you're really focusing on getting the nutrients like fat and protein. On some people, because when you do gastric bypass, you have this very small stomach, and you can stretch yours. I would highly recommend every time you eat, you add like apple cider vinegar pills or betaine hydrochloride to really pull more out of that, that stomach, because without being the right pH, it's going to be hard to break down the proteins, in which case that you may want to take more of a amino acid type product just to make sure you're getting all your foundational amino acids, because those are really important and essential. Also, you can start eating food that's easy to break down as far as protein. Seafood is like really easy to break down. Eggs are easy to break down. Red meat's harder to digest, so that's one tip right there. As far as fat goes, you know, you don't want to overdo it, but think about this. Like, what's the purpose of the fat? Well, you want to extract like DHA, vitamin A, essential fatty acids. So you may need to take a cod liver oil, eat more salmon, just to get those key fats that you really need, but not go crazy about too much, because you probably, without a gallbladder, you can't really digest it. So I would do that, and then I would just play around with how you feel and your symptoms, because let's say you're driving on the street and you go, my gosh, I can't see at night in the dark. Well, then you need more fat, more vitamin A. Or if you have sinus problems, it could be low vitamin A. If you get depressed in the winter, more vitamin D. All right, thanks, Eric. Okay. Go ahead, Karen.
Good.
Over to you.
Over to me. Okay, hello to Baghdad, hello to Seoul. Awesome. So Ira on Facebook is saying that when in ketosis, full on, dreams at night are terrible. So
all this means is you need more B1. Take more nutritional yeast. Guys, when you have vivid dreams or nightmares, what happens is you're low on B1. Real simple solution, start taking that. And the need for B1 is higher when you do keto. And also, it's pretty much higher when you're on a high sugar diet too. So anyway, yeah, more B1.
Okay, good. Okay, good. And I've decided, what time is it?
It's time to...
It's time. So the winner of the VIP ticket this week is going to be off of YouTube.
Okay.
Okay. So now pick a number from 50 to 100.
50 to 100? All right, 57.
Okay, and then I have my own mathematical computation here on what that means to the winner. But I want you to say yes or pick me if you know that if you got a VIP ticket, you would definitely come. Because we want to give it to someone who's going to come, right? So go for it.
Okay, so you got that going.
I got that going.
Let me take this question.
Okay, good.
So Nicole, how you doing? You're from St. Louis.
Hi, how are you?
Great, thanks.
Good. So I have two questions, actually. The first one is about the adrenal night formula or the adrenal cortisol formula. I'm looking for something that can control stress during the day. I have very high stress, and I also do not sleep at night. What can you recommend just for overall peacefulness all day and all night?
I think your best bet is the adrenal cortisol support as the main thing, because that's going to chill you out. You're going to feel really calm. It handles that nervous tension, stress that builds up. It's like you're going to feel like, oh my gosh. I used to give it to patients when they come in. There was a husband and wife that came in, they were fighting, and I put them in separate rooms. I both gave them the cortisol support, and then they walked out hand in hand. So it does work, it's just with stress, and it just calms people down. But the other thing with the sleep, there's an upgrade of the adrenal night, which is called the sleep aid. I just recommend getting that one, taking one before bed, because that also supports the adrenal. It's not a sleeping pill, it's an adrenal relaxer. At night you take it, you go right into a sleep, and then you sleep through the night, and you wake up feeling refreshed, not groggy. But I think both of those are really good to kind of help your adrenals, because if you don't get the sleep, then you're going to be more stressed during the day. If you're more stressed during the day, that prevents your sleep. So we have to kill two birds with one stone. And then also go on YouTube, search out my webinar on stress, and watch that webinar, because I actually go through and I show you some really great techniques to just make you feel really relaxed.
Okay, and both of those wouldn't be over anything too much pills for the adrenal? It
No,
wouldn't
because it's food-based.
any adverse effects?
No,
Okay.
because it's food-based
Oh, okay.
and it's not a stimulant. It's more like it's kind of like eating a tomato. Are you going to get too much potassium? No, you'd have to eat a lot of them.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's complex, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
And then my other question, I'm doing the wheatgrass apple cider vinegar. I got the wheatgrass juice powder, the raw that you recommend. I saw you made a little drink on your YouTube channel. So I'm having that drink in the morning, and I'm also a coffee drinker, and maybe if I slept better, I wouldn't have to rely so much on the coffee. So my concern is I'm doing 8/16 on the intermittent fasting, but I put cream in my coffee. I'm doing the wheatgrass in the morning. Is that counting as a meal, and how can I make it not count as a meal? Or maybe do the wheatgrass with my first meal. What should I do?
No, I think it doesn't count as a meal. It doesn't count as a meal. Unless you're doing like the bulletproof coffee, which I don't think you're doing.
No, it's just a cup of coffee with maybe 2 tablespoons of cream with no sugar, like a heavy whipping cream.
I think you're going to be fine with that. I really do.
Okay, great.
Now, how many cups of coffee do you have per day?
1. It's an 8-ounce. I measure it out. I'm trying to cut back on caffeine as well.
Okay.
So then what I'll do is maybe have like a half a teaspoon of matcha in the afternoon with my first meal. It's like 11, 12 o'clock, just if I'm feeling groggy. And again, maybe the adrenal will help maintain that, and I'll keep even keel energy levels. But I was just worried I wasn't going into a true intermittent fasting if maybe the coffee and the wheatgrass juice powder and my apple cider vinegar drink in the morning was counting as a meal with the calories, or making my insulin levels spike.
No.
Okay.
No, in fact, that matcha tea, make sure you have that before 12 noon, because you want to
before 12.
Because you want it early part of the day, because it can too wake you up. But I think that also go for long walks until you're just like, you get a lot of oxygen, low stress. It's very, very important every day. And then and with that adrenal cortisol, definitely in the first week, like double the dosage. Just take a little bit more and take some right after the coffee, and you'll just feel like, wow, I just feel really chilled out right now.
That's how I feel with the wheatgrass.
Yeah.
I feel like I come to work and people are like, wow, and I'm like, it's this freaking wheatgrass. It is amazing.
It calms you down. And also, anyone that in your office that's kind of irritable, you just slip it in their coffee, and they will be so nice to you.
Wheatgrass in their coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yum, yum.
It might not be nice to you, but
Awesome.
all right. Well, thanks for
such a
calling.
pleasure to help you out. See you at the summit.
Okay,
All right, see you then.
See you there.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so first of all, it's 3 minutes after 12.
Well, let's give the winner.
Okay, so drum roll. Drum roll. YouTubers. Okay, no drum roll. I'm just going to spit it out because we're over time. Are we?
Hold on. We have to get the drum roll.
Okay, sorry.
Trumpet.
Okay, Dr. Berg wanted a trumpet, but we have Michael Marshall 7635. You are the winner of the VIP ticket today, Michael.
Hey, Michael.
Okay, and your job is to email Dr. Berg at drberg.com. Wow.
And
That was
then
a
we'll
good
get your
commercial.
information.
And and then we'll just verify that it is you, and we are getting the wrap it up. That was fun today. We're going to wrap it up. Congratulations, Michael. We're going to see you at the summit. And what are you doing?
Wrapping it up.
We're wrapping it up.
Okay, guys. Have a wonderful weekend.
Have a great week. We'll see you next Friday, and we're going to give away another ticket next week.
That's right.
Okay. In the meantime, don't wait. Be a platinum. Come hang with us. Okay. See you.